Hi, welcome to this SQL tutorial video. Today we're going to look at views. Views are a data set. They are the results of a piece of SQL. So on screen I've got a bit of SQL. It's two tables joined together and it returns this information here, 1322 rows. It might be that this could be very complicated. It might have 20 tables that it's talking to. It might have a lot of conditions, and it might also be a piece of code that is used multiple times within an application or within some sort of setup, some sort of database, that sort of thing. So rather than having this piece of code independently in various different places, it's better to have it in one place, and then you can call it to get the data that you need. And there's a few different ways of doing it, but for today we're going to look at views. So like I said, a view is just the result of a piece of code being executed. It's just a data set. So let us create a view based on this bit of SQL, and we'll do some examples. So to create a view, the syntax is create view, and then we give it a name. In this case, we'll give it a prefix of VW so that we know that if we're looking at kind of object in a database, VW should signify that it is a view. I mean, you can prefix it what you like, but for me, VW tells me that it's a view. Then I'll do an underline, and I'm going to call it, I'm going to give it a description that makes sense to me. And I'm going to call it standard list. Now you'll see the select has got red underline. That's because to complete the syntax I need to put as. And now everything's happy. If I now press execute, it just says, okay, I've ran it for you. What it's actually done is it's created a view called VW standard list. So if I try and run that again, this create, it'll say, hold on a minute, I can't do that. There's already something called that. It's created it when I executed it the first time. So now that it exists, I can say select star from VW, and there it is, standard list. It exists as an object in the database, something that I can interact with. So if I highlight that and I run it, it returns me the exact same data. If I were to alter this view and I say make that 0 and I highlight that, then when I run this, the data has changed. It's returning me 6,000 rows. It's returning me the results of this bit of SQL that is in the view. So I'm going to put this back to how it was. I'm going to just take this and move it to a new query. Now that the view is there, you can treat it as a table. It's a data set. It looks like a table for all intents and purposes. It's just a set of data, and you can do things with it. You can then say where I don't know why that is still showing red. Or in fact, maybe I do. If I just go to edit and I go to IntelliSense and I go to refresh local cache, it just forces SQL to refresh what it knows of the objects within itself. So when I started this new query window, it just started it using a cache of the objects that it thought it knew. It didn't recognize this VW standard, which is why I was getting the funny red underlines. But anyway, to fix that, edit IntelliSense, refresh local cache, and that will refresh the object list within this window. So I can treat it as if I was looking at a table. I can give it an alias. There's my alias, and I can reference that alias, and I can execute it. I can join it to the card rarity table. So you can, so you treat it as if it were a table. You treat it as if it was. You can all the things you do with a standard table query, you can do with a view. So let us create another view maybe. So we've got this view here. I'm going to change it. We're going to say, okay, create. And let's just change the logic. Let's say, no, standard, rare, colorless. And we'll say, yep, it's standard. And we'll add a condition in our view. And we'll say so if I run that, it will create me a new view called VW standard rare colorless. And if I run that, there's the results of our view. And again, this window doesn't know anything about that view, which is why I've got the funny underline. So I'll just go to IntelliSense, refresh local cache, and that should fix it. So views are really helpful. When you're writing code, when you've got code stored somewhere and you're using and reusing code, you shouldn't have the same bit of code duplicated. You should have it in one area and you should reference that. And that's why we use views. That's the end of this video. I hope you find it helpful.